Like, they're not even, like, I don't know how to describe it. They're like reactionary nationalist psychos. Okay? Being Jewish or being Israeli doesn't change that reality. But for some reason, a lot of progressive people just have this weird blind spot where they're like, no, it can't be fascism, dude. It just can't be fascism. Anyway. What is this? A new left Zionist take on First They Came For? What the fuck? Okay. Listen, before I even parse through this newfound psychopathic behavior, I am going to run an ad because I have to. It's the top of the hour, and at the top of every hour, we run a 60-second ad break. You already know. If you'd like to no longer see the ads, it's simple. You can subscribe with your Twitch Prime for free by using your Twitch Prime. You'll have an ad-free experience. Or you can subscribe for $5 or much cheaper, apparently, if you live in Turkey. I don't know if you can do that yet or not, but one day. Okay. What the fuck is this shit? It's just fucking freak shit, dude. It's just when you're fucking so brain broken. First, they came for LGBT, and I stood up because love is love. Then they came for immigrants, and I stood up because families belong together. Not Palestinian ones, though. Then they came for the black community, and I stood up because Black Lives Matter. Then they came for me, but I stood alone because I'm a Jew. What the fuck? Yeah, dude. So, the thing I find rather strange about this kind of take, like, I understand the historical context for why Jewish people, as a consequence of their shared trauma, are usually worried, fearful that people are out to get them. Okay. Like, I totally understand that. And anti-Semitism in contemporary society is still a gigantic problem. All conspiracies usually root themselves through anti-Semitism. Like, that's where a lot of conspiracy theories are grounded. But having said that, in regards to the actions of Israel, who the fuck is not siding with Israel? Like, as far as the people that matter, as far as the people that have power, like there is not any, like, who is saying, please stop bombing, dude? Like, literally all fucking world leaders either turn a blind eye or barely fucking finger wag when the Israeli forces will just like bomb a fucking hospital. And then they turn around, they're like, sorry, Hamas was there. They were doing peekaboo. Okay? And worst of all, the top dog, America, is straight up in support of it and like giving money, giving more weapons, stopping the UN from even like wagging their fucking fingy at Israel. And motherfuckers still are like, nah, that's not enough. What do you want? What do you want? Do you want me to go put on IDF gear and go to Israel and start murdering Palestinians? Do you want Joe Biden to fly Air Force One directly into the Gaza Strip? Will that fucking save your endless thirst for Palestinian blood? What do you want? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense to be like, dude, everyone's against me right now about this particular thing that I choose to defend when I literally don't need to. No one is forcing you to defend the IDF's actions. No one is forcing you to defend a ultra-nationalist, psychopathic, reactionary, fascist, Zionist government. Okay? No one. And I mean, no one is forcing you at gunpoint to do this. And yet you're still fucking playing the victim as you literally brutally murder the people that you have occupied for nearly, for half a fucking century. It's crazy. First, they came for straight pride, and I stood up because a man and a woman loving each other is love. Then they came for white nationalists, and I stood up because my future blood will not be tainted. Then they came for my president, Donald Trump, and I stood up because the election was stolen. Then they came for me, and I stood up. Then they came for me, and I stood alone because I'm a badass cop. That's so good. That's actually really good. That's pretty good. How does the Israeli state not represent the Israeli people? When does complacency diverge into criminality? Dude, some of you want to desperately say, like, literally fucking all Israeli people are at fault. But no matter what, I'm never going to choose to advocate to punish random fucking kids, children, men, women that have not played an active fucking role in this. They might be voting for these dipshits, just like in the United States of America, Republicans vote for Republicans. And Republicans are fucking terrorists too. And yet, I still choose to practice empathy towards those people with the hopes that one day they will learn from their mistakes. One day, they will have better lives. I want to improve all people's material conditions, okay? Nothing changes with how much reactionary fucking weirdos love victimizing themselves, though. If there is one thing that is a certainty in life, it's not just death and taxes. It's also conservatives fucking victimizing themselves while they are literally doing some of the most inhumane things you can think of. 100% of American voters voted for a war criminal either way. Yeah. Yeah. There is no option there. Like, you have no, like, genuine moral option that, I mean, there was one, Bernie Sanders, which would have been significantly better for the world. Why isn't this on the usually John Oliver channel? Yeah, what's up with this? And why is this only 4 minutes? That's a little interesting. Okay. I have to say, as an Israeli Jew, most Israelis are a victim of media and government propaganda that tells them they are the victims since they're 6 years old, and most Israelis are basically brainwashed. Israel is becoming a threat to Jewish existence outside of Israel. There has been a rise in anti-Semitism because of the actions of the Israeli government. A lot of people do not separate Israel with Jews. I mean, fucking... One of the worst parts about that, by the way, which I choose my words very carefully for that reason. Like, Israel does not mean all Jews. Israel does not even mean all of the fucking people living in Israel. Okay? But, like, what Israel is doing does not justify anti-Semitism. What Israel is doing just does not justify violent actions against Jews or even Israelis around the world. Obviously. It's not something I condone. Having said that, why do fucking Zionists literally constantly make the argument that, like, no, Israel does represent all Jews. Please, we represent all Jews. And if you ever are criticizing Israel, then you're criticizing the international Jewry. Fuck you. You are literally attacking every Jew that has ever lived. It's like, no. Like, you're an asshole. Okay? Maybe a lot of fucking, especially a lot of young Jews, like, If Not Now is a great organization. Shouts out to them. Like, a lot of fucking young Jews, especially in America, like, no, they don't want to be associated with that shit. Why are you just, like, hugging them? It's such bullshit. Yes. It is unironically anti-Semitic to claim that all Jews support a particular thing, that all Jews are a monolith, when Jewish people, if you look at it like as a culture or ethnicity or a religion, like they come from so many different backgrounds, largely a consequence of pogroms too, obviously. But like there are Jews all around the fucking world. Sephardic Jews, Mizrahi Jews, Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Jews, like there are Ashkenazi Jews. Like there are so many different types of Jewish people from so many different ethnic backgrounds. Ethiopian Jews, like African Jews. And it's wild to make this Persian Jews as well, yes. It's just wild to fucking make this assertion. Anyway. I'm a furry Jew. Okay, unacceptable. Anyway. Pogroms, not pogroms. I didn't say that. Jews need their own nation because of thousands of years of oppression. No Israel equals no future for Judaism. You know that? Okay, why? Like, why do I have these people still, dude? Still. It's like saying France shouldn't exist to a Frenchman. Okay, dude. This is cape. Like, you are fucking caping and you are also coping at the same time, okay? This is copium cape. Like, you're insane if you believe this, first of all. And I know a lot of people do believe this. I think it's an insane thought. But regardless, let's say that's true, okay, for a moment. And that's all fine and dandy. Like, I'm not fucking saying mass expulsion of all the people that currently live in occupied territory. That would be inhumane as fuck. Okay? I'm simply stating that if your existence, if your Zionist project can only be alive with the continuation of ethnic cleansing and mass displacement of Palestinians in an apartheid-occupied settler regime, then your existence sucks dick, and you have to change that. Okay? Like, then it doesn't deserve to exist. But here is one way that it can. Stop doing that shit. It's that simple. Okay? What about the Jews who have already moved into the homes of Palestinians? Actually curious. What options do they have? Yeah, this motherfucker is the just curious Andy who just keeps being just curious, by the way. Day X of Palestine news. I'm frustrated and tired of it, but also completely understandable. How do you separate the people of Israel from the state? Just curious. What about the Jews who have already moved in the homes of Palestinians? Actually curious. What options do they have? Okay, let me tell you, motherfucker. Depending on the time frame, I think the broader map that the Israeli government created in occupied Jerusalem, okay, should be allowed for Palestinians that were purged to also be able to make claim back for their own homes when they were purged originally in the Nakba. Okay, how about that? How about that? Is that a good way to give you a little taste of what I think should happen? What will happen to those who stole the fucking land? No, you do reparations. That's it. Reparations and land restoration. If you're just curious, that's my fucking answer. Are you dumb or stupid? Just curious. Is just a sub. Here's a ban for you. The full video, he didn't do a whole episode on it. That's why. Okay. All right, let's watch the fucking John Oliver take on Israel. I want to see it. I agree that Israel probably should have never been established, but to act like there aren't enough good reasons to keep Israel intact. No, motherfucker. Okay, people have such a hard time comprehending this. No, a one-state solution means equal fucking rights and equal representation for everyone living on Palestinian land. Okay, not just the Israelis. Sorry, that is literally the only humane way out of this. What a fucking pathetic and psychopathic way to approach this, to be like, sorry, if we give equal rights to the Palestinians, then like we no longer can exist. Well, that just means you're a genocidal state. So fuck you and your fucking genocidal state then. Okay? Like, this is not an unreasonable demand. The fact that we even argue about this as though this is an unreasonable demand is so psychotic to me. It's like saying, sorry, black people can't get fucking full rights. Because if that happens, then we can't just live our normal daily lives. Yeah, guess what, motherfucker? The South had that take, okay? It's not rising again. They got their fucking shit pushed in, and we're like, all right, my bad, never mind. We're going to keep doing as much racism as we possibly can within our purview, but I guess we can't do slavery anymore. That's crazy to me, that you're just like, literally, you sit here like a goddamn Southern fucking cotton plantation owner, and you say, sorry, sir, the Palestinians, they're dogs. They simply cannot exist. We can't give them equal rights because they will kill us. Yeah, because like they have hate in their heart for no reason, right? Sorry, if I give up lands that my pappy stole, well then what will we do? The West needs Israel as an ally in the Middle East. How Israel acts against Palestine doesn't matter. Good point, dude. Yes, you're right. The other genocidal regime of Western imperialism necessitates the state of Israel's existence and continued genocide on Palestinians. Good fucking take, dog. Thanks. Yeah, I know. I agree. But also, I disagree with why that would be a good thing. Why would you bring that up as like a good thing? It's such a weird take. Whenever motherfuckers are like, nah, dude, sorry. We just got to keep fucking shit up. And we need to have Israel as a base there to keep fucking shit up for us, too. Anyway.
Israel. Because the biggest news of the week has obviously been this.
This morning, the worst violence in years between Israelis and Palestinians is intensifying. Israel's military attacked new targets in Gaza, the Palestinian territory where militants are firing hundreds of rockets into Israel. And in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, Palestinian protesters fought with police.
Since Monday, over 80 Palestinians have been killed and 7 Israelis in this tit-for-tat war.
Okay, there is a lot to unpack.
Tit for tat, bro. 70 versus fucking, or 80 versus 7, which, by the way, that number is nearly 200 now. I don't know why they were using those numbers, but 80 versus 7 doesn't mean tit for tat, okay? Like, that disparity is so fucking disgusting, dude. Anyway.
There, from the horror of the situation, which has
Hold
escalated significantly since then, to the use of the phrase tit-for-tat war in a conflict where you just pointed out one side has suffered over 10 times the casualties. Something which speaks to both the severe power imbalance at play here and how that often gets obscured by how we choose to talk about it. And look, if you are not fluent in Middle East history, I know this can seem overwhelming. The latest chapter in a long story you haven't read. So I'm not going to try and recap the history here, or indeed propose a solution, although interestingly, I do have one, because someone with this accent always thinks they can fix things in the Middle East. I redrew the map a bit, and I have a lot of misplaced...
You motherfucker, your people are the reason, okay? You motherfucker. You son of a bitch! You son of the bitch! John Oliver, you dog! I spit on you! I know that's the joke. I know that's the joke! I'm playing into it. Shut up!
...place confidence that it would work very well.
Chat loves fucking being like, I'm so smart, dude. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. I caught the streamer in an area that I feel like he doesn't know what's going on. Even though I literally come to the streamer to learn about the subjects that he's fucking discussing every day. So clearly he understands that that's probably a part of the joke, but it doesn't matter. I got him. Okay, you fucking got me, dude. You got me, dude. I didn't realize that was the joke, and I wasn't playing into it, okay?
But this week's actually been a pretty good reminder that while some things are incredibly complex and require a great deal of context, others are just wrong. Take, for instance, one of the incidents that's been a flashpoint, the planned expulsion of Palestinians who've lived in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood for generations. It's currently tied up in the Israeli court system, with the foreign ministry calling it a real estate dispute. But it's worth knowing that the UN's Commissioner for Human Rights has said that these expulsions would violate Israel's obligations under international law. So it is not hard to see why sanitized terms like evictions or property disputes rankle those who live there.
You grew up in the neighborhood. Your family home is slated for eviction. What is the scene right now?
Well, thank you so much for having me. To start, it's not really an eviction. It's forced ethnic displacement, to be accurate. Eviction does not imply the hundreds and hundreds of heavily armed police and army and settlers colluding, blowing up your doors, throwing your children from your windows, and using brute force to throw you out in the street and assaulting and arrest you should you resist. It doesn't imply the grenades. It doesn't imply the rubber-coated bullets.
Right. The threat of eviction is accurate only in a very superficial level, in that one day you live somewhere, the next day you don't, and that change wasn't your choice. But it doesn't tell the whole story. It's like running a headline that says Matt Gaetz reaches out to...
Okay, he wasn't evicted, but the IDF did exactly what the IDF does in every single circumstance, and did a demonstration of force and removed him from his house and detained him for a little bit. And that was deliberate, by the way, for the record. That was deliberate, just like the bombing of the fucking Associated Press building was deliberate. The IDF does shit like this all the time. It's not because they thought he was fucking Hamas. Obviously, he's not. He's a fucking poet. Goddamn. Okay? And just like they fucking knew that the media building wasn't fucking Hamas. Okay? They just did it to say, fuck you. One, we can get away with it. And two, how dare you fucking report on this shit. Anyway, I know it's mid-joke, so I'm going to run it back a second. My bad.
And using brute
yeah,
force
they're making an example out of these people.
To throw you out in the street and assaulting and arrest you should you resist. It doesn't imply the grenades. It doesn't imply the rubber-coated bullets.
Right. The threat of eviction is accurate only in a very superficial level, in that one day you live somewhere, the next day you don't, and that change wasn't your choice. But it doesn't tell the whole story. It's like running a headline that says Matt Gaetz reaches out to Florida youth. Sure, not inaccurate, but it's missing some pretty crucial details about the exact nature of that interaction. And look, it is true that militants from Palestinian groups like Hamas fired over 1,000 rockets towards Israel this week, and that is reprehensible. But, and I realise this is the most load-bearing conjunction in history, but the majority of those rockets thankfully didn't reach their target for a very clear reason.
The casualties and the damage would have been greater, but for Israeli interceptor rockets, the so-called Iron Dome, which blew most of the incoming missiles to pieces.
Yeah, Israel has a so-called Iron Dome. And I know, what if we blew up the rockets with more rockets? Sounds like something someone drunkenly wrote down on a napkin once, but it is a real military defense system that really works. And I also know not all the rockets were shot down. Israeli civilians were killed this week, which is terrible. But the point is, this isn't tit for tat. There is a massive imbalance when it comes to the two sides' weaponry and capabilities. While most of the rockets aimed toward Israeli citizens this week were intercepted, Israel's airstrikes were not. They hit their targets, including...
Yes, John is right. Give Palestinians an Iron Dome and laser-guided missiles. There you go. Equalize it. So it is literally tit for tat. Let's see how that works out, dude. I'm just saying, bro. It seems like a lot of these dudes, including Anthony Blinken, keep talking about how Hamas is firing rockets into Israel indiscriminately. Motherfucker, they got bathtub rockets, dude. So what's up? Are you advocating to give them a fucking Air Force then? Are they able to do air base raids now? Are they able to do fucking laser-guided missile strikes? You know? The fuck? Why is this thing broken? Full focus. Full focus! Okay, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Look at this. There we go. Fuck, that's annoying. Okay.
A house in a refugee camp, a building housing the Associated Press and Al Jazeera, and this 13-story office and apartment building. And while Israel insisted that there were military targets in that building and that they destroyed it as humanely as possible, even warning people to evacuate beforehand, for the record, destroying a civilian residence sure seems like a war crime, regardless of whether you send a courtesy heads-up text. And when dozens of people have seen their homes or livelihoods destroyed, it doesn't really help that the Israeli military posted this triumphant meme showing the explosion and the rubble labelled before and after. Look what we did. People lived there before and now they can't. You get it, right? And obviously, in general, you should probably never meme a war crime. But if you absolutely have to, at least go with something less boring than the before-after template. Maybe use the Drake meme or the disaster girl. There's a building coming down, so checkmark already there. And it's a little girl with eyes that scream, I don't know what the Geneva Conventions are, and frankly, I don't care. The more I think about it, it works perfectly. The fact is, the citizens of Gaza don't have an Iron Dome to protect them the way that the citizens of Israel do. It's one of the many ways they're at a significant disadvantage. Although an Israeli military spokesperson tried to push back on the idea that there's really much of a discrepancy there.
Somebody on Twitter said that the Palestinians don't have an Iron Dome. I say yes, they have an Iron Dome. It's called Don't Fire Rockets at Israeli Civilians, and we won't fire anything at Gaza.
Yeah. But there are a couple of differences. Iron Dome, for one, sounds much cooler. And also, it has the significant advantage of being an actual defence system that exists, unlike Gaza's, which is mostly try not to be where the bombs are landing. And it's important to note here, the vast majority of the Palestinians in Gaza are not part of Hamas. They don't get together and all decide to launch rockets. It's not a fucking co-op board. But when Israel fires rockets at Gaza, it endangers all Palestinians there. Maybe somebody on Twitter could point that out to that guy. To people in Gaza, it can seem like the only time anyone pays attention to what's happening there is when Hamas is firing rockets, which is understandably very frustrating because they've been living under a suffocating blockade for 14 years. And in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, Palestinians are essentially being governed by a form of apartheid. An assessment echoed by both international and Israeli human rights groups. Life in Gaza is hard even when they are not being bombed, and the US government has implicit...
So this part never gets mentioned in mainstream media, and because it's a 10-minute video, I'm almost certain that John Oliver is not going to talk about it, okay? Because the thing that we often forget when we hyper-focus on the bombs flying over Palestinian buildings is the damning realities of this occupying regime. The everyday genocide. Like, control from, as I talk time and time again, like the apartheid state in the occupied West Bank, the open-air prison in Gaza, controlling all fucking infrastructure that Gazans and Palestinians as a whole have. Like, it's all fucking genocide. It is like literally pushing Palestinians into ghettos and then starving them out.
Implicitly co-signed on the brutally hard line Israel's been taking. This guy basically gave Israel a green light to do anything it wanted for the last 4 years, and while Biden has had the opportunity to reset that relationship, his administration's response this week has been deeply underwhelming, giving a generic statement that Israel has a right to defend itself. It's the exact same line that Obama said and that Bush said before him. Israel has a right to defend itself is just something all presidents end up saying out loud at some point in office, like my fellow.
What the fuck?
Eight in a to excuse absolutely everything. Multiple children have been killed this week. 8 in a single strike just yesterday. And the US is heavily implicated here. Not just by serving as Israel's diplomatic shield at the UN, but by constantly refusing to criticize the indefensible. Watch as just this week, a State Department spokesman desperately tried to equivocate when asked a pretty simple question.
I want to ask you on Israel, I don't want to harp on this either, but, the Israelis killed 13 people just now, including maybe 5 or 6 children. Do you condemn that? Do you condemn the killing of children?
Saeed,
I'm asking you, do you condemn?
No, motherfucker, I can't. Okay? What do you mean? This is the Defense Department. If I am to condemn the killing of children, like, I'm gonna be out of a job, dog. What do you want me to say? Like, this is what I do.
The killing of Palestinian children.
Obviously, and these reports are just emerging, and I understand, I was just speaking to the team, I understand we don't have independent confirmation of facts on the ground yet, so I'm very hesitant to get into reports that are just emerging. Obviously, the deaths of civilians, be they Israeli or Palestinians, are something we would take very seriously.
Holy shit, he just asked you, is child murder bad? This really isn't hard. Just say yes. The only scenario in which the answer to is killing children wrong gets tricky is if you're a time traveller in 1890s Austria trying to explain why you just killed the Hitler family's bouncing new baby boy. I know how this looks, but trust me, it is complicated. Look, there is a real tendency, particularly in America, to both sides this situation, and I'm not saying that there aren't some areas where that's warranted, but it's important to recognise there are also areas where it's simply not. Both sides are firing rockets, but one side has one of the most advanced militaries in the world. Both sides are suffering heartbreaking casualties, but one side is suffering them exponentially. And it's not like the US is operating from the moral high ground here. It's obviously no stranger to drone-striking weddings and saying, we were just trying to target enemy combatants. This country has blood on its hands too. And look, if you believe Israel's actions are warranted and proportionate this week, you're welcome to try and make that argument. But we have got to start having this conversation honestly, and falling back on convenient, sanitized terms like real estate disputes and airstrikes on militants feels a little disingenuous when what you're describing is forcing people from the homes they've lived in for decades and killing civilians and children. And again, none of this frees Hamas from responsibility, but Hamas doesn't represent all Palestinians, just as what Israel is doing right now doesn't represent all Israelis or indeed Jewish people. Lots is complicated here, but some things are pretty simple. One side is suffering much more. And if America really wants to help, it might want to seriously consider.
I low-key feel like Netanyahu knew that there wouldn't be condemnation no matter what, no matter who's fucking president, and wanted to do this under the Biden administration, even though this was, because, like, he had problems forming a coalition government under Donald Trump, too, because he knew that liberals are going to straight up fucking defend him. But if Donald Trump was the one defending him, liberals might have accidentally taken a position against Israel because of how much they hate Donald Trump. That's kind of what happened in the inception of Black Lives Matter. Under the Obama administration, you didn't hear a lot from liberals about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was like barely 30% popular. Why? Because it was black people against the black president, the Obama. He's a liberal savior. He's a progressive. And I wrote about this at the time when I started seeing people come to side with Colin Kaepernick instead of criticizing him when Donald Trump started shitting on Colin Kaepernick, even before George Floyd, even before the international protests. Like, liberals started apologizing. I remember the Podjohns even apologized for their original takes on BLM. And I think that is something that, because Western propaganda and Western opinion over the occupation is certainly something that Israeli administrators care about. They clearly do. That's why you hear so many motherfuckers cry about their menchies rather than, like, you know, the horrifying nature of this occupation. I really think that this is the reason why it's happening right now is because people would be less aggressively criticizing the Biden administration because, like, it's Biden. Like, he knows what's up. He's progressive. He's not Donald Trump. Do you think he predicted the shift in popular rhetoric? No. I think that right now, the reason why we watch Israeli propaganda run the same lines over and over again and fall on deaf ears, that's making the situation worse overall for them, is because they did not predict this kind of sea change. Like, I don't think that Zionist propagandists ever thought that there would ever be an acknowledgement of Palestinians as human beings. Like, I think that's why they're fucking flailing. Because I think that's the reason why they have found themselves in this predicament where they're like, oh shit, the fucking regular propaganda is not working. Fuck. Okay, we'll just keep doing more of it. Over and over again. Like, just keep pumping it out and hopefully people will shut the fuck up.
Consider changing its long-held position here, because for decades, the backbone of America's policy in the Middle East has been that America is an unwavering friend to Israel, which is a great thing to try and be. But at the end of the day, I would hope that a real friend would tell me when I'm being an asshole, and definitely when I'm committing a fucking war crime.
Yeah, that was kind of shitty. Like, I mean, actually, you know what? Fuck that. That was really good. No, I take it back. That was a really good fucking video. Like, I'm not expecting John Oliver to just be like fucking use like more aggressive terms than the ones he used. That was so much better than Trevor Noah's take. That was really fucking good. That was really, really, really good. I wish they would have done a main story. I'm a little butthurt because of that, but maybe they just didn't have enough time to put together everything. But that was really fucking good. That's what you have to expect. Like, my expectations are definitely higher of John Oliver regardless. But to see something like this on television is pretty remarkable. On mainstream television is pretty remarkable. Zero Israeli viewers. Your stream might be blocked in Israel. Wait, really? That's not true. I had like 90 Israeli people. No, there's definitely Israeli people in here right now. No, I'm blind. Yeah, there's hella Israeli people in here. And geolocator's not even accurate, but anyway. Having said that, no, that was pretty good. I'm being ridiculous. I'm actually being harsh. So we already talked about it. I mean, we brought this up a little bit, but this is so fucking disgusting, dude. It's literally the most disgusting thing ever. Like, to stop ceasefire talks to give Israel more time to keep bombing Palestinians and murdering Palestinians. And then on top of that, to give them money or give them weapons, rather. Sorry. Like, that sucks, dude. It's so fucking bad. Squirrel said, what John Oliver says here would have gotten your career in media and journalism destroyed in a second not too long ago, and still does if you're Palestinian and Muslim. Straight up. Straight up. And by the way, this isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm going to say. Not to scare any of you and you know, urge you to betray your values or anything, but like, this shit's not done yet. So, we'll see what happens. Like, I'm pumping this shit out, but like, who knows? Who knows how long I will be able to do this sort of stuff? And I mean it. Like, listen, when I say this is a remarkable change of pace, a remarkable turn of events. Think about the way Ilhan Omar gets mentioned in American media, or got mentioned in American media like over and over again when I fucking when I would like do endless amounts of coverage on this shit. Are you pressured? No. No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Like, there are a lot of people that have lost their jobs, that have been permanently blacklisted for speaking out against Israeli atrocities in the past. Straight up. Most of you, like right now, in the United States of America, if you want to be a public school teacher in 35 states, you have to sign on to an agreement in mostly southern states. You have to sign on to an agreement that says that you will never participate in a BDS protest, a boycott, divestments, and sanctions on Israel until they end their occupation. Like a BDS peaceful movement that was tailored after the original BDS protest against apartheid South Africa. You have to sign that to become a fucking teacher in fucking public school, dog. Like, these are the realities that we currently live through every fucking day. Free speech, by the way. Yeah, most people don't know this, and they fucking lose their minds when they hear about it. They're like, there's no fucking way that's true. Like, that's crazy, dude. That's fucking crazy. That is absolutely fucking crazy. That in order to be a teacher, even in a public school in 35 American states, you have to sign a piece of paper, or at least like the school could make you sign or ask you to sign a piece of paper that says you have not supported boycott, divestment, and sanctions on the state of Israel, and you will never support it. Yes, it is a clear violation of the First Amendment. 100%. Absolutely. Good luck getting that through fucking the dense skulls of the supermajority conservative Supreme Court, by the way. Have you seen this? A summary of what the Palestinian citizens of Israel went through in the last 7 days. It is not 100% good to show on stream. Oh, okay. Thanks, then. Thanks for linking it to me. Let me... Chuck Schumer, breaking news from Axios. Chuck Schumer comes out and says, I want to see a ceasefire. Interesting. That is very interesting. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer told reporters Monday he wants to see a ceasefire reached quickly and mourn the loss of life. Why it matters. Schumer is a staunch defender of Israel and has maintained that Israel should be able to defend itself. Todd Young, Chris Murphy, and 28 Senate Democrats also call for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas on Sunday. Schumer did not answer a reporter's question on whether he supports the U.S.'s $735 million arms deal. Dude, that's crazy. This is crazy. Usually when shit like this happens, they do actually at least symbolically call for a ceasefire. What is remarkable about the Biden administration thus far is the fact that they didn't even like, they dropped all pretense of like even caring about Palestinian lives, by the way. Maybe they want to do a ceasefire. Maybe they want to do a ceasefire so they can, you know, deliver the weapons easily. Just kidding. They don't need a ceasefire to do that. Israel controls all the airspace, obviously. That was a joke. Don't be ridiculous. Fuck is Hamas gonna do, bro? Throw their fucking Teflon at a plane delivering rockets and weapons to Israel? Israeli/US have been really sloppy with their messaging this time around. Really strange. I love it. No, they haven't been sloppy. They got confident. What is this?
את המונולוג האחרון אני לא רוצה להקדיש לנושא ספציפי.
What the fuck? Wait, hold on. Is there going to be blood or is it just a monologue? Okay. I saw this on Twitter. It's pretty fucking base. Might be cool to see for leftist Israelis in the chat. This is from 2017, by the way.
את המונולוג האחרון אני לא רוצה להקדיש לנושא ספציפי מהימים האחרונים, אלא דווקא למשהו כללי יותר. סך הכל, אם מסתכלים על החיים שלנו בארץ, היה ממש בסדר. ברור שיש יוקר מחיה ושאנחנו רחוקים מלהרוויח את מה שהיינו רוצים. ברור שמערכת הבריאות הייתה יכולה להיות יעילה יותר. ברור שהפוליטיקאים היו יכולים להיות יותר מרשימים ופחות מביכים. אבל אם מסתכלים על החיים מלמעלה, הם יחסית בסדר. באמת, אחלה מזג אוויר יש לנו. אחלה אוכל, אחלה אנשים, אחלה ים. לא כזה רע פה, בגדול. וזה בדיוק העניין. שאנחנו סבבה, ולנו סבבה, אבל יש עוד כמה מיליונים שאנחנו אחראים להם, והמצב שלהם על הפנים. תשתיות, אוכל, בריאות, חינוך, מיליונים שחיים בעוני מחפיר. עזה על סף מגפה, שעות שלמות ללא חשמל, ללא מים. ישראל שולטת על כל מה שנכנס ויוצא, אבל הם בחרו חמאס, שישלמו על זה. הומניות? מה לנו ולזה? מה, אנחנו אוהבי ערבים? מאז שממשלת הימין בשלטון נשמעים יותר ויותר קולות המזהירים מאפרטהייד. אתם עושים צחוק? האפרטהייד כבר מזמן פה, מזמן. אנחנו פשוט בצד הנוח שלו, אז הוא לא כזה מפריע לנו. שנים אנחנו כבר מתעללים על בסיס יומי בפלסטינים, מונים מהם זכויות בסיסיות. ביהודה ושומרון לוקחים להם קרקעות. פעם עוד גייסנו כספים דרך הקרן הקיימת לקנות מהם את האדמה. היום מעבירים חוק שאפשר לקחת אדמות וזהו. חיילים יורים במיידי אבנים פלסטינים כי הם סכנה אמיתית, אבל אם בישראל מיידים אבנים זה אפילו לא יגיע לכתב אישום. עוצרים עיתונאים פלסטינים במעצר מנהלי, בלי משפט, בגלל שהם כתבו משהו. כל פעם שאצלנו יש חג או שמחה הם בעוצר, שחלילה לא ירסו לנו. שנים אנחנו מעמיקים את השנאה, אותה שנאה שאחר כך נתלונן עליה בכל משא ומתן. למה אתם מסיתים את הילדים שלכם נגדנו? למה אתם לא מלמדים אותם לאהוב אותנו? הפיתוח הכי מרשים של החברה הישראלית, יותר מכל מיזם הייטק או נשק של רפאל, הוא היכולת המדהימה שלנו להתעלם ממה שקורה קילומטרים מאיתנו לשכנים שלנו.
God damn, dude, that shit is powerful as fuck. That's crazy.
עם שלם שקוף, לא קיים. לא בחדשות, לא באתרים, לא ברשתות החברתיות.
This is from 2017, dude. No shot this guy has a job anymore, right? Like, no way I'm saying this? No. Haaretz is, okay. Here's the thing. The irony is that, like, sometimes you will literally have, like, straight up, aggressively fucking anti-Zionist takes from Israeli Jews. Like, there are Israeli Jews in the Knesset that are anti-Zionist and all this stuff. Like, that's why I'll use, like, Haaretz articles sometimes as source material rather than fucking Al Jazeera, because people are going to be like, it's Al Jazeera, fuck you. But no, some of these people, ironically, some of these dudes, ironically, have more liberty to say this in Israel than American media broadcasters can in America. Like, I don't think this dude got clapped for this, but who knows?
בטח לא בלבבות של האנשים. כלום. יש לנו ארץ נהדרת, ואחלה מסעדות, וכיף, ונוסעים לחול, רק אל תספרו לנו מה באמת קורה. סבבה לנו, אל תבאסו. אבל יש כמה צדיקים בסדום. אנשים שרואים את המטריקס ומנסים לצעוק, לספר לנו, שנדע מה קורה. אולי...
Like it's literally easier sometimes to criticize Israel. Not even sometimes. It's literally easier to criticize Israel on Israeli TV than it is on American TV. Not even joking.
בסדום. אנשים שרואים את המטריקס ומנסים לצעוק, לספר לנו, שנדע מה קורה, אולי נתעורר. שוברים שתיקה, בצלם, יש דין. עשרות ארגונים שרק מנסים לספר לחברה הישראלית על מה שקורה. אז מה אומרים עליהם בתמורה? שמאל, קיצוני, ארגונים לא לגיטימיים. עכשיו תבינו, כל מי שאומר שמאל קיצוני, מנסה לייצר השוואה עם הימין הקיצוני. וככה הדה-לגיטימציה שיש לרוצחים כמו ברוך גולדשטיין, והרוצחים של משפחת דוואב, שתדבק גם בגופים כמו שוברים שתיקה ובצלם. כי צריך לגנות את הקיצונים משני הצדדים, נכון? רק שהם שוכחים פרט קטן. פה הקיצונים רוצחים, ופה הקיצונים מדברים. פה הקיצונים שורפים אנשים, ופה הקיצונים דורשים זכויות אדם. לא קיימת הקבלה בין ימין קיצוני לשמאל קיצוני, כי אין דבר כזה שמאל קיצוני, זה פיקציה, המצאה של השנים האחרונות. כשמדברים על אונס, גם מדברים על קיצונים משני הצדדים שצריך לגנות. אלה שאונסים ואלה שמתביישים בכלל לגעת בבחורה, שניהם בעייתיים, או רק צד אחד. כשאנחנו מדברים על התעללות בחיות, גם מגנים את הקיצונים משני הצדדים, אלה שמתעללים בחיות ואלה שמאמצים אותם? לא. כי מי שקורא לאנושיות לעולם לא יהיה קיצוני. אבל האנשים במחנה, שבמחנה שלהם יש רוצחים, מחפשים הדדיות. תנסו לא לרצוח ולהתייחס לכל בני אדם שווים, אז תהיה הדתיות. ארגוני זכויות האדם הם הדבר הכי לגיטימי ובריא שיש היום בחברה הישראלית. הם מנסים להאיר חברה רדומה, אטומה, ותורמים לביטחון שלנו יותר מכל מאחז או התנחלות. והסיבה שבנט וביבי כל כך עסוקים בלהגיד שהם קיצונים לא לגיטימיים, היא כי הם אומרים את האמת על הכיבוש ועל מה שקורה. וביבי ובנט יודעים שביום שאזרחי ישראל יתעוררו ויגלו מה קורה מעבר לקו הירוק, מה זה עושה לחיילים שלנו, לילדים שגדלים שם, לזקנים, למשפחות, למיליוני אנשים חפים מפשע. מה המשמעות על התקציב שלנו, על החברה שלנו, על הכלכלה שלנו? ביום הזה אנשים ישאלו את עצמם אם השטחים באמת שווים את זה. כי מבחינה ביטחונית הרי כל הרמטכ"לים והגנרלים אומרים כבר שנים שזה שטויות, השטחים לא מגינים עלינו. לכן אני מאמין, אולי משכנע את עצמי שבסופו של דבר הימין יפסיד. כי הוא מפחד.
Okay, he was very wrong for the record. Unfortunately. Someone said that he is the deputy mayor of Tel Aviv now. It's only gotten the support for the occupation has gotten stronger. But
מפחד מהאמת, מהמציאות. הוא מנסה להדחיק אותה, להסתיר אותה, למנוע מאנשים לשמוע, למנוע מאנשים לדבר. אבל בסופו של דבר, זאת...
Bro, what the fuck is this, dude? What is this? Why are you sending me a fucking link from Roger Waters as though, like, this is the best source of news to find out about who Israel's next bombing campaign is going to be? Are you fucking brain dead, dude? Dude, breaking news, dude. Roger Waters is saying that like, are you nuts? Are you like a fucking BTS stan who's like, you know, sneaking like the new Pink Floyd album or some shit in here? Like, what the fuck?
חוכמה קטנה מאוד להרדים את החלק השבע שנהנה מהאפרטהייד. אבל יש פה עוד חלק, עוד עם שלם.
I know, it doesn't matter that he's like pro-Palestine and an activist, dude. I can't use a random fucking person, no matter how base they are, like, to deliver news to 42,000 people. It's not a fucking verified source. I'm sorry. Psychos, dude.
והוא פה גם אם לא נדבר עליו, וגם אם לא נכיר בו, ונעשה כאילו זה רק אנחנו, אלוהים והארץ המובטחת. הלוואי שפעם אחת נתעורר לפני המלחמה. כי עד עכשיו אנחנו מתעוררים רק אחרי. היה צריך את יום כיפור בשביל השלום עם מצרים, והיה צריך את האינתיפאדה בשביל אוסלו. הלוואי ופעם אחת נשכיל להגיע להסכם לפני המלחמה. מקסימום אחריה. או עוד אחת אחריה. אבל בסוף, נתעורר.
I don't know if that'll happen, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna do this. I don't know if like the Israeli military is reportedly informed the UN that it will bomb the El Aqsa and Al Barak schools, which are hosting mainly women and children refugees. Like, I don't know if they're gonna fucking do that. That's I don't know. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. That seems fucking insane. Okay. I did see that. Yes, Italian dock workers refused to load arms shipment destined for Israel. Didn't they like get banned from entering Israel now too, or something?
Arms after discovering the load was headed to Israel. The shipment included explosives and precision-guided munitions destined for the port city of Ashdod in southern Israel. In a note, the USB union has explained that dock workers took the decision to stop loading the shipment.
I see you constantly pushing back on the human shields narrative. Have you ever thought how this applies to your own life? You're shielding us from the content we want. Nameless King. Wow. Oh my God, you fucking douchebag. You literally, I thought you were coming in hot with some psychopathic fucking propaganda, dude. God damn it. I did not see that coming. I didn't. I really, you set that up well. But you probably didn't see the top of the hour ad break coming. So, but don't worry. Although it is top of the hour and an ad break is coming, there is a way to avoid those ads. You can subscribe with a Twitch Prime for free to avoid the ad breaks. You can subscribe with a regular subscription as well. Use VPN, ad blocker, and that sort of stuff. Also works. If you want an ad-free broadcasting experience, do those things. Here's the ad now. I mean, these Italian union members, so they're probably base communists.
Fearing the weapons would end up killing the innocent Palestinians already hit by deadly attacks over the past days, which caused hundreds of civilian victims, including women and children.
It's not right that our work is instrumental to the death of Palestinians. That's why we refuse to load the ship. We don't want to be part of this injustice. We don't want to be accomplices to the massacre of Palestinian civilians. Furthermore, we have noticed that an increasing number of shipments transiting through our ports are loaded with weapons, and this is very dangerous for us workers and for the people residing around the ports.
The ship that is delivering weapons to Israel to be used on Palestinians was owned by someone close to the Erdogan government, you say. But I thought Erdogan was so based, bro. Quite curious, dude. I don't know if that's real or not, but it would not shock me, okay? It just would not shock me in the least bit. Just like everybody was like freaking out over like Erdogan's 1 minute shit while we were still training Israeli pilots in Ankara, in Turkey, I'm saying. The company released a statement clarifying they sold the ship in 2016. Oh, never mind. Never mind, boys. The ship was sold. Why is Erdogan defending Palestine? Erdogan always postures strategically in defense of Muslims. He's the king virtue signaler. Ankara değil abi, Konya'da eğitiyorlar. Oh, sorry. And not in Ankara, but in Konya.
Dock workers had been tipped off by an NGO named the Weapon Watch over the weapons they were supposed to load onto the Asiatic island, a vessel flying Singaporean flag docked at the port of Livorno.
The Weapon Watch is an independent observatory on arms transfers through Italian ports. According to a representative of the observatory, the legal part of the arms business transiting through Italy is mirrored by a vast illegal trade in arms that fuels violence, atrocities and civil wars across the globe.
The truth is that these arms transfers are routine. Dock workers and the general population are now more aware of the direct consequences of